Checking into the motel on a September sunrise. Now that I think about it, it was the same day Jimmy died. Reckless and abandoned.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Opening Act, a podcast interview show with me, your host, Brandon Hilder. On today's episode, we have Bryan James Duffy, lead vocals for the Garage Boys. This is his song, Room 8.
Leaving God and the devil to battle for your name. The fighter said that you had to, all that you need to. All I know is you want to, all inside you.
How are you doing today, Bryan?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, too. So let's talk about the Garage Boys. What kind of music do you guys play?
Garage Boys, I consider us a bipolar band. We play everything. And I know a lot of bands say that, but we play 1950s rockabilly, surf music, as you know, to as much to new country today, you know. Because as you know, Las Vegas is a pretty request-based scene, and so you have to be prepared to kind of hit 100 different audiences at any given time. So we sort of like that challenge of stumped, and it can be pretty lucrative with the tips as well too. So
when did you guys start, and how did you get the name?
Well, I'm Canadian, so I was up in Canada. An old bandmate of mine that I used to tour with a couple of years ago. And now I sound like an old man here, but he called me and asked me if I wanted to come down. This was in 2007, so it's going 15 years now. He asked me if I wanted to come down and fill in for a guy, and then I never left, you know. And then I met a great woman and got married. So
Wow.
Here I am. Living in the U.S. and I'm loving it. So it was 2007 when I came down, and then the agent who saw me play said, "I've got this band I'm putting together, the Garage Boys, and would you want to be the front man for it?" So it took me a few minutes to say yes, you know, and that was it. Here I am.
You live in Las Vegas, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm right downtown.
I've been to Las Vegas in the airport, but never really actually around it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fun place to live as long as you don't let the excesses of it eat you alive. You know, there's a lot of vices here, as you know, but it's been really good to me. I'm happy to be here.
When did you first discover your love for music?
When I was a wee kid, my brother had a guitar, and I thought that was the coolest when I was really small. And my mom used to make us all take piano lessons. I hated the piano as a kid, and I love it now, but I couldn't stand the piano, and I said, you know, I just compromised with my mother. Can I take guitar lessons? You know, it was just basically to avoid piano lessons, and it turned out becoming, you know, the thing that has been my passion pretty much my whole life.
Then when did you discover that music is what you wanted to do your whole life?
Pretty much since I started playing guitar. Since I was a kid, I really had no outlook at any other profession, to be honest with you. It never occurred to me to do anything else since I was a young lad, you know. I still can't really think of anything I'd want to do. So it's just one of those things. I guess it's a blessing and a curse, you know, to know what you want because you have something to follow, but at the same time, music isn't easy. You know, it's not an easy trip. So the work involved and the thick skin you have to develop to be in this business is it's got its ups and downs, but I'm happy I chose it. That's for sure.
So, as like a teenager and a young adult, what was your favorite band?
I've never really waved a flag over any like one style of music. Like as a guitar player, my brother introduced me to some of the older players, like Jimi Hendrix and Jeff Beck, and I just got into that kind of music, and so I was always a Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Beatles, Rolling Stones guy, and I didn't fit in with a lot of kids because they were always into the music that was going on. I was into all the old stuff, and everybody's into the newer stuff, but I think one of my favorite bands growing up would be the Stone Temple Pilots as well.
Do you think your taste in music has changed from what it was back then to what it is now?
That's a good question. No, I don't think it. I don't think it's the fundamental things that I love about music haven't changed. I'll always gravitate to more organic music as opposed to electronic, and that's nothing against electronic music, but that's just my opinion. But I think in terms of loving music, I think one of my favorite things to do is just going down the YouTube rabbit hole and just looking for music from anywhere, from anywhere in the world. I don't care where it's from wherever it may be from Greece, Italy, Russia, Japan, here. And I'll just fixate on something going on and listen for a couple of days and then move on to the next thing. That's the beautiful thing about technology.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am too. I listen to pretty much everything that I can get my hands on. So what bands and songs inspire you most while writing your music?
I always go back to who I feel were the best. I still resort to the Bob Dylan, Elton John, song, like the songwriters that are still being played today. Really anything inspires me. I love folk music. I love country music. I love rock music. So whatever. One of my favorite bands to take a lot of their musical styles from is a bluegrass band called Old Crow Medicine Show. And if people haven't heard them, they're the original writers of Wagon Wheel. Everybody's heard Wagon Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a hard interview with that kind of stuff because I could talk for hours about songwriters and who's inspired me, and they go from 100 years ago until now.
I also like Old Crow Medicine Show. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're just a fantastic band that doesn't get enough. They don't get enough press, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So, what is your favorite part about making and playing music?
My favorite part about music, period, is what I call the creative process. Just the actual sitting down and just trying to steal something, trying to take something from nothing was what I always say. I kind of have the same writing process as have you ever the band, their classic band ABBA? Their writer said that he just whittled around on the piano and just played whatever he wanted until something just snapped in his brain and clicked. And that's kind of what I do. I'll sit on a guitar for hours and hours and hours. And, oh wow, this sounds neat. I'm gonna roll with this. So that's, and then recording is my favorite part. I like recording and writing more than anything. But secondly, I love performing. Anytime I get to perform, I'm still not sick of it. So it's still a privilege to be able to get up and play.
Yeah. And then you mentioned like just sitting down and just playing the guitar until something sounds right. What other process do you go through while writing a song?
That's the main one. Once in a while, just somebody will say something, is in conversation, you'll be sitting down and somebody will just say something just out of the blue, and you'll be like, "Hey, that's a cool lyric," or that's actually a really neat concept. Sometimes, I could give you an example on my Red Brick Road album.
Sure.
I've been fascinated the song "The Most Beautiful Suicide." I was fascinated. That's a true story, so I was fascinated with that. Even as morose as that story is, I was fascinated with it, and just kind of felt inspired enough to write about that story in a more abstract version of it, and that can be a process as well.
So I know earlier you also mentioned how just kind of being a musician is what you really wanted to do, but honestly, what would you see yourself doing if you weren't a musician?
Something not even close to music. I don't. I only really want to perform and write music, and I haven't gotten that out of my system yet. So to answer the question, I don't know. I have no idea, which is a scary prospect, because
Yeah.
when everything shut down during COVID, a lot of people like me were like, "Wow, this is all I've ever done, and it doesn't exist right now." And it was a scary prospect, but lucky we got back into it again. And to answer the question, I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah. It's probably just good that you're doing this, I bet.
I'll probably just play until nobody will give me a gig anymore. Then I'll worry about it after.
There you go. Why worry about it now?
Yeah, exactly.
And you guys play a lot of concerts, just to put it at that. What has been your favorite venue to play?
I really enjoy Fremont Street. Obviously, that's a real fun one. We play Mandalay Bay at Rhythm and Riffs. I really like that place too. It's Carnival Court at Harris is great, but the whole band particularly loves going out to the Sturgis bike rally. We do that every year, and that's 2 weeks of a lot of fun. It's great crowds, great sound, just an interesting whole situation. It's more like we're camping and then playing music at night, which is kind of a lot of fun for everybody.
Wow. That sounds like a lot of fun. Then
Yeah.
you guys, you play in Las Vegas, and there is quite a lot of restaurants in Las Vegas. Have you found a favorite one to eat at?
That's there's some good ones. There's some really, really good ones. I don't have a favorite, but I do like. I'll have to say there's a restaurant downtown called La Thai. It's a Thai fusion place. That's one of my favorites, and I really love this pizza place called Good Pie. If you're a pizza fanatic, that's a really, really good one in the Arts District. But there's so many great restaurants in Vegas. Those are just two I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. As you're talking about playing on the Fremont Street, that's where my parents first heard of you, on the Fremont Street Experience, and that's actually how I found about you, from my dad.
Cool.
And when they were at the concert, they noticed that you guys were taking some song requests. What has been your favorite song request to have?
Oh, so, that's funny. Some songs I'm tired of listening to, but I'm not tired of playing them. So I've never really cared. People ask me that a lot about what our favorite song to play is, and I'm always just like, they're all kind of fun. I wouldn't play a song that made me miserable. If the band really hates a song, we just don't play it. So they're all pretty cool. Some of them are a little redundant, like when people ask for Def Leppard or people ask for Def Leppard or Sweet Child of Mine. I'm a little bit, oh God, I played this song 100 too many times. But hey, it's better than not gigging, right?
And this is just my question. How many requests for Freebird do you have?
Every time we play.
Oh yeah.
And it's it's usually some joker, and I always say, "Hey, man, this isn't a wedding reception," you know. So,
Oh my
or
goodness.
Freebird starts at $100, and that usually will shut them up pretty fast. But the odd person will come up with $100 bill in their hand, and you're like,
Oh my
okay,
goodness.
I guess we're playing Freebird.
You actually do it?
We can.
Wow.
We can. It's a great. You know what? It's a great song. It
really
just,
is.
It's just sometimes things get so beaten up. You know, they're great. They're great songs until you hear them 4,000 times. Like, and there's a lot of examples for that. But Freebird seems to be the poster child for that.
Yeah. I saw him in concert, Leonard Skinner, like back in 2016. That was pretty magical. But
that would be great. I still haven't seen them. I love Leonard Skinner. Absolutely fantastic band.
oh
So
yeah.
I'm actually happy. I'm happy to play Freebird. I never played it as a kid, and our drummer's from Oklahoma, so he's like, "Oh my God, I played that song every day growing up." You know, he's a Southern boy, and I'm like, "We never played that up in Canada." So I get down here, and I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it."
So what is your favorite part about playing on the Fremont Street?
You can really play as a band, like there's no volume constraints. The stage is big, the sound is big. The crowds are usually pretty good and pretty into the band. Like 90% of the time, they're usually great crowds. So it's sort of like for lack of better word, it's more of a rock concert feel than a club feel. And I really enjoy that. So
Yeah.
that's what I like about it.
How big are the shows on the Fremont Street usually? Like, what's the crowd?
It really depends. I mean, last night we played Fremont Street last night, and it was a little bit chilly out there. So we might have had about 300-400 people in front of us. Pretty good for the weather. We've played we played in front of 2,000-3,000 people crammed into that little spot, you know, on Main Street. So when the weather starts getting better, when we hit the end of February, March, you know, we're going to be playing nothing shy of 500 to 1,000 people a night.
So I was doing a little digging on, I think, the Garage Boys website, yep, and it mentioned that you guys did a few concerts in Ireland and the UK. What did it mean to you to go play over there?
A lot. We've played out. We came back from there in May of 2022. And the Irish crowd, the Irish people are just nice people. If you've never been to Ireland before, it's just a beautiful, friendly country. And with believe it or not, some of the best food I've ever eaten, and the Guinness is incredible. But it meant a lot because I have Irish ancestry in my blood. So to go back to where my ancestors are all from was really special. So I liked everything about it. The only thing I don't like about Europe in general is just it's really expensive. You know, it's just we have it really good here. We sometimes don't realize it, but there's a lot of takeaways from Ireland. The people, their love of music. You can play anything to those people, and they'll just watch and appreciate what you're doing.
Earlier, we were talking a little bit about your solo project, The Red Brick Road. What could you tell me about that?
Well, I just wanted to do something for myself, and I was lucky enough that I have a producer friend here in Las Vegas that has a great studio, and another friend of mine who's been a mixer for years and years. He moved from LA over here, and I had a little team around me that I could actually write and record something of really good quality, not just home studio kind of thing. And I wanted to sort of write just a little, I used the word abstract earlier, but I'll use it again, a little abstract version of my life from leaving the north and coming down here. And I just wanted to get it down and recorded for my own sake of getting something written. And it's turned out really well, and I'm getting a lot of orders for it. I'm getting a lot of orders for the vinyl selling a lot. So I'm thinking of maybe going out and doing a little brief tour of it, just a couple of weeks, and just play the songs to some people.
Wow.
That's really the story behind that.
Wow. How would you say this is different from the Garage Boys music?
Well, if you've listened to the Garage Boys music, you know some of our music is pretty tongue in cheek, right? Like there's a lot of party music, a lot of, we don't take ourselves too serious. In other words, I felt that this was a little more introspective. The writing, I'd say, was just I don't want to say use like mature, but it's a little more introspective and a little more serious, as opposed to the Garage Boys, where it's just kind of fun and games for the music.
Yeah. And my favorite song from that album is probably Roommate. What was the motivation behind that song?
Oh, a lot. I had an ex who we're still very close friends. We're both Graham Parsons fans, and I don't know if you know who Graham Parsons is. He's a folk writer, country writer. He's one of the earliest pioneers of country rock. He introduced pretty much a lot of bands like the Byrds and the Rolling Stones to country music and how it can be incorporated in rock and roll. And he passed away in Roommate of the Joshua Tree Inn. So me and a friend of mine went out there and spent a weekend just as an homage to Graham, where he passed away, and he passed away in the room, and it's a pretty cool trip, actually, going out there and seeing where he was in love with the Joshua Tree National Park, and it was a really really great experience to go there with a likewise massive fanatic of Graham as well. So that's what that song's about. So I like that one too. That one's close to me.
Out of all of the Garage Boys and the Red Brick Road songs, which one's your favorite?
The Garage Boys, probably my two favorite Garage Boys songs are Going to Oklahoma. That's our probably most requested song as well, out of all of our originals.
Do you have a favorite Red Brick Road song?
Yeah, I like Roommate as well, because it was a personal experience, and I like the Most Beautiful Suicide. Those are probably my two, the ones that I'm proudest of the most. But I'm proud of the whole record. I'm really happy how it turned out.
I also really like the music video for Roommate. It's really cool looking.
Cool.
Yeah, the videography element, and it's really really cool.
That's a guy out of Los Angeles, Matt Zane. He's fantastic, and it turned out that way because the air conditioning unit broke in the studio that we were filming it at, and it was in the dead of summer. So last summer it was probably 110 degrees here. So I told the band, I said, I don't, you guys are basically going to melt. So we had to kind of just do something. What are we going to do here? So we had to make the best of it without any band concept. And I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
So, you've played a lot of shows, like I said earlier, and I'm sure you've met a lot of cool people. Who's been your favorite person that you've met or shared the stage with?
That's good question too. I've met a lot of people, and opened up for a lot of bands over my life. But I think the thing that sticks out in my mind right now is when we were playing in Vegas and Toby Keith showed up at our gig and got up and jammed with the band, and that was a lot of fun. That turned into a really really cool party, and that was a few years ago. You can see that on YouTube if you see Garage Boys jamming with Toby Keith. you can see us all smiling from ear to ear because, hey, wow, this is
Yeah.
cool. That's probably one of the neatest ones that sort of sticks out right now.
Yeah, that's really cool. I wish him luck with his recovery and with cancer and the
Yeah.
battle that he's fighting
Yeah,
right
and
now. So
Yeah, and that's why it came to mind over the last few weeks because we did hear that he's pretty ill and fighting his own battle right now.
yeah, I really hope he can fight on with that one. So if you could go back in time and meet any celebrity, who would it be and why?
Oh, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
That's without a doubt who it would be.
Would you want to like jam with him?
Yeah. Or actually, I should say I would like a guitar lesson from him.
A guitar, yeah, watching
More
learn.
accurately. Can I just sit here and watch you play guitar and I'll shut up?
Just admire him, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. And do you think you have an answer for the favorite concert story?
You know, I don't know if I have an answer for that. I've had so many crazy things happen on stage over the last 15 years with this band that I'm at a loss of what I could tell people. Funny enough, what came in mind is when I was a kid, I was on the road with a band, and we bought ourselves a half-size school bus, and we toured all across Canada in this thing. It was pretty cramped, but we were down an old highway road, like a back road going to this gig, and this pig came running across the road, and we slammed on the brakes not to hit it. We weren't going too fast, luckily, and as we stopped in the middle of the road, this farmer in big rubber boots and overalls comes running across the road, and he motions to us, and we open the door, and we're like, "You okay?" He's like, "Can you guys help me corral my pig?" And I'm like, "Okay." So we get out, we corner this little animal, and so he grabs the animal. But while these things are really hard to corral, so we all slip, fall in the mud, fall in everything, and then we show up to the gig, and we're basically full of mud and crap and everything like that. And we get to the gig and had no change of clothes, so we were just up there. Yeah. So,
man.
I don't know why that one came to mind, but that's
Hey, that's a pretty good story. Yeah, pigs are not easy to get into an area. I worked at a farm for like 3 years, and that was always my least favorite part, when the pigs escape and getting them back in, because, whew.
Yeah. So that was my one and only lesson of that. I found out really, really fast, really hard, like why this guy asked us for help.
Yeah.
But those the most disgusting, dirtiest looking band. You know, we were kind of a glam band too. You know, all kind of dressed up, so we looked pretty stupid. But
that is the end of the serious questions. So if you don't mind, we'll get into some more of the goofy things.
Okay.
So, do you have a favorite movie?
I have a lot of favorite movies. I think the movie that always sticks in my head as one of my favorites of all time would be Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
I love any Stanley Kubrick's movie, for that matter, are probably all my favorite movies.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Fantastic. Great book. It's Malcolm McDowell's one of my more favorite actors. So he's fantastic in it.
This question's brand new, and I'm not quite sure why I'm asking it, but what is your favorite fruit?
Blueberry.
Blueberries, okay.
Yep. Without a doubt, I'm an addict.
Yeah, blueberries are pretty good. They're small, so you can eat a lot of them too.
My blueberry bill every month is pretty astronomical. So.
Then this question comes from my favorite TV show, Chuck. If you were on a deserted island and could have one sandwich with you, and you're going to be eating the sandwich every day, what kind would it be? Give me as much or as little detail as you would like.
Oh, you realize you'd get sick of even that one, but it would probably have to be Capriotti's The Italian Dawn. That would be what I'd start with.
What advice do you have for any students that might be listening to this podcast? Because I try to make it a high school-oriented podcast just to see if any kids will want to listen to it. So what advice do you might have for them?
Well, I would hope that I would hope that they would want to take the instrument that they're playing seriously. Like I would hope that they'd want to do it in an organic way in the beginning and actually really delve into the instrument and learn it and learn all about it and learn all the pioneers of the instrument or vocally, whatever it is they're doing, and put something together with a group of people. I would love to start seeing that a lot more often. And the advice is I think I don't think there's any advice that anybody could give any young person that hasn't been given for hundreds of years. The dedication is pretty severe. You have to be incredibly dedicated to it, and in a climate where there isn't as many live venues for music, it makes it much more difficult these days. So high school students coming into it have more of a challenge with looking for places to play, because if you can't perform, you're not going to get any better. And I feel for them all right now, but there is still a lot of places to play live music, and as they say, okay, here's a quote: keep live music alive. It's your job to put the new bands together and to start going out and working it, and don't rely on so many laptops and tracks and everything like that, because I know all that stuff is at your disposal. Do it yourself, do it for real.
Yeah,
because that matters.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the questions I have. Do you have any thing else you would want to plug or talk about or anything at all?
If come on, get on your YouTube channel and subscribe to the Garage Boys channel. Subscribe to me, Bryan. I go by Bryan James Duffy. Subscribe to my Instagram, and feel free to look me up on Facebook. Ask me any questions you want about music. It's great. I'm always happy to try to give people advice. It's a tough business, and check out our videos, check out my videos, and come on and see us. Come on and see us if we're playing in your town, because we do get around outside of Las Vegas, especially during the summertime. We usually get up to the Midwest. So come on and see us play. And a special thanks to you for having me on. I always to keep myself available for interviews with people, and I'm glad you reached out to me, and this has been a great chat, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah. Thank you for accepting to be on here. Good luck with all the future Freebird requests, and yeah.
Hey, if there's Freebird requests, that means I'm still working, so that's a good thing. Right on.
Well, I hope you have a good one.
Thanks, man. You take care.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. But before you go, I just wanted to say thank you to Powell County High School. That's the school that I attend. Thank you so much for letting me use the equipment. I also wanted to thank Mr. McConaughey and Miss Beery and all the other amazing teachers here for helping inspire me and help motivate me to do this. And a big, big thank you to Bryan, and a huge thank you to you, the listener, because really this wouldn't be possible without you. And please make sure to go subscribe to the Garage Boys YouTube channel. And, of course, subscribe to me, and have a good one.